But welcome everyone. Let me know if you guys can see this okay. Charles, did you have any starting comments?
Not right now, but I'll do so in the course of the meeting.
Okay, no worries. Okay, great. And so this is our agenda for today. Pretty quick, flat and short. We're going to have Meow, Ludo, and Jono join us. We're just going to give them a briefing because they'll be presenting at the community call that's happening in 2 hours' time. And there's a physical meetup in Sydney at in an hour. So I'll need to leave at 5:50 in about 50 minutes time, just to make sure I can herd the cats to the venue. But also welcome to the QDAO team. So I think this is the first time we've seen Mike and Andreas join the Transhuman Coin Scientific Advisory Board meetings on our monthly basis. So welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
It's amazing. I think the community knows you guys so well, but yeah, feel free to introduce yourselves as well.
Okay. Do you want to go first, Andrews? Or?
Go right ahead, Mike. Thank you.
Me? Okay. Beauty before age, or age before beauty. So let's see. Yeah. So I'm just some guy who is working on trying to accelerate clinical discovery through the aggregation and analysis of a lot of the naturally generated human data in the world in order to overcome the kind of slavery we have to our selfish genes that are focused on maximizing their replication, as opposed to carrying out our more rational, ethical values. So my focus is more in discovering ways to be able to control the emotional and motivational systems of the human brain to make us better than evolution has made us. Andres, here we go.
That's a small task.
Okay. I'll take care of it. No, actually, yeah, it would be great. It's very fortunate that we met all of you, and we're very grateful for everything. So I think if BDAO has its way, then we'll maybe live long enough to achieve these other aims. Andreas, sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. On my end, I've been really into the longevity and transhumanist movement for quite a few years, and been involved in a lot of different projects in that space. And yeah, just gotten really fortunate to meet Mike a little more than a year ago, and gotten on this journey of really putting together the health data to make sure that we can actually find new cures and just increase health as quickly as possible, as well as longevity. Because right now we have all this siloed data. This leads to nothing. It's a waste of resources. So tackling this is so critical to make sure that we can actually use all these different AI models and quantum models, and actually see this exponential increase in health data finally lead to something for all of us.
That's amazing. Welcome, Andreas. And Andreas is, goes way back from Immortality magazine to also working with Elise on FutureDAO. So it's, I love that the transhumanist community, stays close and works together on that common goal. As you've seen, also Art, being part of USTP and driving some of these initiatives, which is, why we're so supportive also with QDAO. We're in the process of looking at doing a investment of Transhuman coin into QDAO, and essentially it will be a token swap. So helping QDAO looking at their tokenomics and bringing in experts to see what that looks like. We're always going to be supportive, and whether it's helping with the initial utility of how the QDAO works to incentivize people to share their data, and use the platform, to looking at the governance side as well. But I know that Simon Weslander is another member of the team. He would have liked to join, but he's been burning the midnight oil, and I think he's fully burnt out at this stage. He's been preparing for KPMG presentations from CureDAO. He's been looking at our presentations to the Minister in Aruba, and I'm sure also lots of other BD initiatives linking up with the likes of Deep Longevity and BioViva as well from Paris. So I think there's a lot of common ground we're reaching here.
He's a machine.
He is a machine. I'm surprised his AI is not joining us. But yeah, with that, maybe I'll pass it on to Charles as well to do any welcomes, and then we can go on to the other piece of the agenda, which is we can talk about swapping of scientific advisory boards as part of that collaboration. So I think Art, you expressed interest as well as part of this arrangement to sort of look at CureDAO's board as well, and potentially myself as well, if it's sort of looking at from the Transhuman Coin team. We're happy to facilitate that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, because DAO is only as good as I guess the neural transmissions that are directed towards it. So yeah, we could definitely use any help and thoughts and brain cells that you're willing to donate. So.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Thanks, Peter. And I'm just going to be brief. First, I'm really happy to have you, Mike and Andres, on our call today, and also very excited to see Alice again. And happy birthday, sis. We celebrate you a lot. And thanks for all you've done for not just the Transhuman Coin project, but for the transhumanism movement and the longevity community. Thank you so much. And Art, hopefully by the end of this call, we'll be able to set up the Transhuman Political Fund wallet, And Andrew, bro, and everyone, the AIs, it's going to be a great day. I look forward to more engagements today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charles. Yeah, and thanks for your leadership over the years as well. And we wouldn't all be here as well on this call if it weren't for you. So I really appreciate you, brother. It's a great initiative we're leading. I was actually meant to visit Art in person in Phoenix, and Art lives down the road. Well, pretty long drive, but he was willing to drive 2 hours over a weekend for me. And unfortunately, yeah, I know. Yeah, 1 hour. Well, unfortunately, I was held back for a week. I might still be able to make it to the States for South by, but it's really up to whether I can do that through work. So I'm just got my fingers crossed to see if I can still make it over there. But unfortunately, I probably will give ETH Denver a miss, which is where I was going to meet with the IoTex team. IoTex is one of our partners. We're looking to integrate with the MachineFi protocols or the Fitbits, which I was meant to bring to Art when I was over there. It looks like we'll have to see if I can drop by still this month. But that was one of our utility use cases, Mike, kind of like StepIn. So we would have our own physical Fitbits that integrate using the IoTex protocol that would help people to earn to move to earn, that type of approach as well. So that might be something we could explore together.
Yes. How do you spell IoTex?
Yeah, it's like IoT and then EX.
What did you say? MachineFi protocol?
Yeah, it's their MachineFi, so, machine finance. It's like, when all the Web3 buzzwords started coming out, they were like, yeah, people will get it. And then just like you go DeFi, or people start saying DeFi. And it's like, what's going on?
That looks pretty amazing. I definitely want to look into that more.
Yeah, awesome. So and so Charles mentioned the political fund wallet as well. So I'm actually in the meetup, Charles. The Science Party leaders will be joining later today. So they'll be part of the community call, joining us in person. So in Australia, we have the Science Party that was formerly known as the Future Party, and that was the party that the Transhumanist Party in Australia merged with. So, through Science Party, it's become our platform for transhumanist policies. One of the main policy we were able to get across the line was to treat the aging process as a disease, to recognize it as a disease. It's still a minor party, so pretty on the fringes, just like the, what's the sort of party in the States that Zoltan ended up joining after USTP? Was it the Libertarian Party?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's along that sort of level of popularity. So maybe getting around 1 to 2% on the votes. But if we're able to get 4%, we're able to get $2.50 or something per vote, and per electorate, which is 100,000 people. That starts to add up. So we're trying to get that over that threshold for the next election. It's we have both state and also federal representation here in Australia.
That's great.
Yeah.
What are your plans for strategy in doing that? Have you considered a network state type situation?
Yeah, network state is so this is the very mission behind Transhuman Coin for transhumanism. And on top of that, how in the network state they state people, laws, and land, people, land, and laws, right? So in our community call that's coming up in about an hour or an hour and a half, Meow Ludo Meow Meow, which is also represented here, is a popular biohacker. And Jonathan Woods, who's into IoT, they're actually going to be presenting on a land acquisition investment that they're going to be showcasing to the community. Yeah, in northern Queensland. Initially, it'll be they want to make it as sustainable as possible economically, so they'll be yielding crayfish, which is a particular species of crayfish that is able to get 10x the yield that the common crayfish currently has globally. So they're looking to sort of get that level of output, and that'll fund the ag tech type accelerators, and Transhuman Coin will be that utility to fund the projects. So any sort of innovations, transhuman projects has a home for this network state effect of Transhuman Coin. Yeah, this is
cool.
It's one of the strategies.
So what are you going to use for governance? Do you have a platform that you plan on using it, or just discourse?
Yeah. Right now we've got a valid.finance platform. So Transhuman Coin holders are able to vote on initiatives and proposals. So it'd be similar to Snapshot to be able to vote on those policies directly through the representation. But we haven't quite worked out what the best method of democracy is. Well, hey Ken, how you going? You're on mute, mate. How you been?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Welcome, Ken. Good to see you again.
I can't hear you guys. I wonder what's
you can't hear us? Yeah, it might be your audio setting. I think everyone else is okay.
So Snapshot, and do you get do you know what the engagement levels are?
Not very much at the moment, because our platform hasn't been fully set up.
Let me try again.
Yeah, that's all right, Ken. We need to get that platform up and running well, because our UK registration is happening at the moment, and that's also how we're launching the exchange. So the Valid.finance is a peer-to-peer exchange for people to be able to trade Transhuman Coin and also use their coins to vote. So that's still early days. Open to some thoughts on what the best governance practices and how you would do that on the voting.
Yeah, we're researching that at the moment. So we've tried, Discourse and used Snapshot before, but both of those have low engagement. I don't know if it's, and my hypothesis is that that possibly better user experience and a more Twitter-like UI would increase engagement. I think, and the Sway platform is the best that I've seen so far, but it is not mobile responsive, and it doesn't integrate with Discord. So those are kind of the downsides with that platform. And so I've kind of talked to them about creating an integration, but that's further down on their roadmap. So Andres is still looking around for something. superior. There's additionally metagame, which is attempts to gamify and incentivize positive real-world activities. And so they're like a framework for doing this. So we're exploring that option as well.
Yeah, keen to share notes on that because it sounds like it's going to be needed. Keen to hear Art as well on the USTP side. On the voting, is there any sort of mechanisms that you guys are looking at for direct democracy for the USTP members, and also on the policies as well?
Platform, no. We've been doing like ranked choice voting with a spreadsheet or something. I don't know exactly how he did it, but yeah, no other platform, just something that we sort of came up with. Yeah.
I was actually meant to meet up with Kennedy as well as part of the trip, which I don't think I'll be able to make it to Carson City anymore. But I was actually looking to Charles, talk to him about the political wallet, fund wallet. That so I invite him along to this meeting. But I don't think it's as much of a night owl as Art. So I'm sure, Art, thanks so much. Maybe just pass on the message that that's coming as well.
Okay.
We'll give you the access to the safe wallet as well. So is Kennedy, Web3 savvy? Is he got his wallet set up and everything?
Yeah, he does have a wallet set up. We did the airdrop with the Transhuman coin for him, so he does have a wallet set up.
Yeah.
Then created through Firefox. What do you call it? What's it called? MetaMask. Yeah, he's got a MetaMask created.
That's good.
Wallet.
Yeah. So you should be able to sign once that sort of we make that transfer from the dev wallet to the political wallet. And Charles, tell us about what's happening in Nigeria as well. Peter Obi, all of the news.
Hi, Ken. See you again.
Put yourself off mute. You can hear us now?
I can hear you all.
Yeah,
Thank you.
welcome
Hi.
back. So good to see you, Ken.
Hi all. Good to see you, Peter.
Thanks so much.
Good to
Thanks so
see
much
you,
for your
Art, Charles, Corky. How you going? There's a Mike here. Hi, Mike.
Yeah. So, Dr. Ken, you're a practicing doctor. This is the perfect audience. We have a couple of members from CureDAO looking at decentralizing science and been able to look at a platform for people to do citizen science and capture their data and on the great user interface that Mike's put together.
Definitely wouldn't use that adjective, but
it's good. It's better than most.
Yeah, the least bad, the tallest midget.
That's interesting. So anonymous sharing of data.
Yes. I can show you. I don't know if you're open to that. Yeah. I think you've done it a few times, but if you're not sick of it doing it, I think Ken would be keen to see it.
Yeah, it'd be good to see it.
Yeah,
if that's okay. I don't know whether today's the
I'm fine with it. I don't want to bore you.
I've got some time.
Okay. So one moment. Okay. So, the purpose is what my original motivation was. I had a lot of different conditions like arthritis and psoriasis and depression and anxiety, and so I was seeing lots of different specialists and took many different drugs, but I was still miserable. So I started kind of recording everything, my sleep and exercise and my administration of different interventions and symptom severity, and then in a lot of different apps and devices, and then aggregated it, exported all of the data, and then combined it so that the different data sets were compatible in order to apply pharmacokinetic modeling and account for onset delays and of action, and try to apply other kind of causal inference algorithms, and then calculate the typical change from baseline in symptom severity following any given intervention. So you can search for something that you want to improve, like inflammation or something, and then it should theoretically generate a list of the strongest kind of predictors of inflammatory pain, like increases. And then so another example is like exercise and and mood, guiltiness specifically. And we calculate it over different onset or durations of action to see if it's an acute effect or if it's likely a cumulative effect. Then so we got data from many different people this way, and then we aggregate it at this Journal of Citizen Science, where one can search for a mega study. Do you have any questions or comments so far? So feel free to interrupt me or pull me off the stage anytime. I'll just show the inflammatory pain mega study, where we calculate the average change from baseline for a lot of different interventions. So you can select like the outcome of interest, so inflammatory pain in this case. And then we have like we visualize the relationships in different ways, but the easiest to understand is these outcome labels, which are analogous to nutrition facts labels, but instead they say the typical effects of different foods instead of the amount of thiamine or riboflavin. And then so we have data on many different interventions and conditions, but and so data is very broad, but it's very shallow, because for any given study like inflammatory pain, you can click on any one of them and then see a more detailed study. So this one is for French fry consumption and inflammatory pain. It's typically 20% higher after above average French fry consumption, I guess due to the saturated fat. But we only have like a few people in this study. So the goal is to work with Transhuman Coin and other entities to facilitate data sharing, because there's a ton of data that already exists that could be used to increase the statistical power and confidence in these studies. And then we're have this like digital twin safe that we're working on to enable people to import their data. It's based on this Gnosis safe that's normally used to let people transfer their cryptocurrency to different exchanges and things, but instead we're tokenizing different data sets on different interventions so that we can enable people to sell them to different buyers, like pharmaceutical companies doing initial drug discovery, or post-marketing required phase 4 research. And so you can click on any of these items and then see kind of a study and get all of the data. And then we want to convert those to these data gem NFTs, where they could be sold, because there's currently like $60 billion spent that are paid to Epic and Cerner EHR systems in order to for anonymous health data. And so we think it would be great if individuals could receive that money, and they'd be more incentivized to collect more high frequency longitudinal data. I've talked way too long, but thank you for your patience.
Thank you. So this data, how do you get this data? These are personal, individual patient data.
Yeah, so individuals can see their own data. The studies is not individual personal data. It's aggregated statistics. So they're not traceable back to any individual, and they have the option of allowing their anonymized data to be used in the global studies. But they can get their data. They can record it with a lot of different apps. Like, for instance, they can use Fitbit and then connect their account, and then authorize us if they would like to allow us to import it. So that's how that works. How we get the Fitbit data, for instance, and then if they put in their zip code, then we can import their air quality data or their weather data, or lots of other sources, or if they're using a diet tracking app.
Can you look up pelvic pain, please?
Yeah, I don't know if we have that, but I will look it up.
Oh, you don't have that yet. Yeah.
Maybe we do. Searching. I think that's probably a less common one.
Okay.
So we may not have that yet. But
Actually, in gynecology, that's one of the most common complaints. Yeah.
Do you know if there's any apps that are focused on recording this?
There are apps. I don't know of anyone off the top of my head, but I think there are a few, and there is a standardized way of measuring the pain, but I think it's still in very much in the formative stage. It's pretty understood. In fact, the link between pelvic pain and what we actually find surgically is very poorly correlated as well. But I can see the potential in that area.
For anybody to create a study on anything that they want to research. So if you wanted to create a study that looked at the effects of a particular intervention on pelvic pain, then you can select, actually that would be the outcome. You can select that as the outcome variable. So tingling sensation in pelvic area. Looks like we do have
Pelvic pain. There's one at the bottom, yeah.
Yes. And then normally you have to look up, select a specific intervention. But I think we should be able to, should come up here in this search, but I think it's only returning my individual variables. So normally, if you don't have any data, it will return the aggregate studies. But if you do have data, it returns your own. So anyway, I'll look into that and get a
Sounds good.
if I find them.
Sorry, thank you very much. Sorry, I'm just booked in. That's very good. Thank you. Thanks for showing that. Hello, Jonathan. Can you see?
See you later.
Yeah. No, thanks for that, Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, that's great. I think being able to customize it to anyone's needs to run those studies themselves for new biohackers. I think this is like a dream for them. Get them all in.
Yeah.
I'd be keen to have a chat with Meow as well when he's presenting in about an hour or so, well, 45 minutes or so. He's looking at various other biohacker communities that are looking at this in Australia. I'm sure Liz Parrish, I think, mentioned as well. I think, was there anything else? Oh, so I was meant to pass on to Charles on the Peter Obi stuff. Yeah. How's everything going over there in Nigeria?
Yeah, we're quite hopeful, For those who don't know much about Peter Obi, he is the most progressive candidate in the Nigerian elections, presidential elections. He's more fact-based and more science-oriented, The rest are just a bunch of corrupt politicians. So
those are somewhat common.
Yeah, so we're desperate.
So how's he doing?
Yeah, good. Look, if we have a free and fair election, P2B will definitely win. But
Really?
the fear is back home in Nigeria, there is vote buying where these corrupt politicians buy votes or buy voters, and that is a big challenge. But we're using social media to push for a free and fair election. So let's see how it goes.
So, do you have any, like a DAO or something that is coordinating this?
No, this is quite primitive. I mean,
Right.
it's still like primitive politics back in Nigeria.
I heard of one of a DAO in Africa. I don't know if it was Nigeria, in Africa, that was like had this goal of overcoming corruption, and then coordinating collective action in that manner. It seems like there's a lot of potential there for hopefully overcoming all the corrupt institutions that currently oppress everyone.
Okay. There is one here in South Africa.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There's one here. Yeah, no, I'm saying there is one here in South Africa. It was started by a friend, and but they're not doing so well. They've gone just underground.
What percentage of the people in Nigeria have like reliable internet access?
With the launch of Elon's Starlink, yeah, we currently do have 99% broadband penetration.
Really?
Yeah, it's quite. Look, I haven't been to Nigeria in over like 11 years now or so, right? But from reports I get from back home, I think there is quite some improvement in broadband penetration, and I'm very close to the tech community, so I get those updates.
Yeah, we actually have some community members that are running the THC Institute joining shortly, so they should be able to also give some insights on what's happening there. Yeah, Corky, feel free to invite them in because I think we should have time over the next 20 minutes, and then I've got to start all that. And Avinash, good to see you, mate. Dr. Avinash,
hey Peter, thank you. Sorry, my camera is off. And I was hearing silently, but I was seeing all the presentation from Mike. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Great work.
Thank you.
Only concern, I'm asking this question, which I don't want to ask, but because Peter put me in the spotlight, let me do that. So this data you are working on, what I'm trying to ask you is how credible is this all information and data is? I know there's not enough statistical power with the data, I can understand, but this data can go biased very easily because they have all sort of information and easily can indicate this versus that. And how to control that?
Yeah. So there's like a number of validation algorithms that we try to use to clean it up, and so there's like restrictions on like the values for specific variables and specific units like maximum and minimum values. Then we have to there's another problem that happens when people don't record things. You have gaps in the data, and then that's going to harm the outcome of the analysis. So like there's a problem with foods. Ideally, everybody would record 0 on a day when they don't take an intervention. So you know that they didn't take it that day. It's not that they just forgot to record it. So to kind of avoid this, we use that inbox thing where it like keeps, if they haven't recorded something for a specific day, then it stays in the inbox until they don't record it. So we try to address missing data that way. There's the people who do use it are like currently there's like no kind of compensation for it. So currently they're like intrinsically motivated. The reason they're going to the trouble to record their symptom severity is because they want to see what the problem is. So they're incentivized to put quality data in because it's going to be worthless and a waste of time if they do not. If we start paying people for their data, then you have the perverse incentive for people to, maybe robots or people to just generate a bunch of fake data. So the one way to prevent, like, it's called Sybil resistance, to prevent robots from making a bunch of fake data to try and earn tokens, is using like this Gitcoin passport proof of human protocol, and that should prevent the robots from making a bunch of money. Then in order to prevent individuals from just like pressing the buttons a whole bunch of times without paying attention, you could introduce like random captchas into the stream, so that they have to complete those in order. So then ultimately, kind of the cost of manipulating the thing, you basically, like Vitalik said, a good means, if you can't have perfect security, but you want to make it like 100 times more costly to try to hack something than the reward that you'll get from succeeding at hacking it. So we would want to take the same approach by integrating captchas, or using webcams or other biometric measurement devices to validate that that they're actually doing it, paying attention.
That sounds like a good measure on the data collection. But my question is also on the inferring those data point into some meaningful information that can easily go biased, maybe for so many reasons. Even though data is good, maybe it's very focused on certain demography, certain age, certain piece of variable, and it indicates something which may not apply to all sort of population out there. So there could be, it's a challenge, not just you, I believe, for anyone, and it's a big challenge to solve that.
Yeah, there are tons of flaws, potential imperfections, but the current standard operating procedure, if you have depression, for instance, you go there every 3 months, and then you have to like remember whatever you can remember. You tell your doctor, and then so your memory has flaws, and then they give you a drug using kind of a dartboard approach, and then you go back in 3 months, and then you say if you feel better or not, and they assume that this was basically a randomized controlled trial. If you feel better, it was because of this one drug, and if you don't feel better, it's because the drug didn't work. When in reality, there are hundreds of other factors that you usually can't even remember for more than 2 days. So even though there are many potential flaws with this method, it seems to me like light years better than kind of the caveman way that we're currently doing it, using these brains that can hold 7 numbers in working memory at a time. It seems like it should suck a lot less if we're looking at high frequency longitudinal data, and the wearable device data and stuff, that's generally pretty reliable too. So yeah, what are your thoughts?
No, definitely, that's very true, and I think this also depend on what kind of inference we're talking about. So it also matters. For example, the example for depression, because there's no other way around at this moment for that. So really, doctors trial and error kind of approach different drug based on what they know from previous and what they learn from the patient himself. But let's say talk about something very serious, for instance, cancer. I don't know. Things are a bit more complicated. Drugs can't be used. For instance, again for depression, interestingly, Australia is experimenting with mushrooms for patients. But again, that could be trial and error sort of. Some sort of clinical trial are happening on that aspect. Well, it's approved to try on patient, if I'm not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So depend on severity of inference from the data. I think it's possible to make a recommendation, but some other maybe not so hurry to do that. And we need to go further to do a bit more experiment before
Right.
talk about that and openly let public
Also,
take that information.
yeah. And also it's better the more A/B tests that you do. Like if you're, say you have arthritis and you're taking curcumin to see if it makes it feel better. Like the more, if you take it for a while and then for a month, then you stop taking it for a month, then you start taking it for a month. Every time you do that, it's like adding another person in your clinical trial. Currently, there's like oftentimes as few as like 30 people in clinical trials, and there's no incentive to figure out the effects of lots of things that potentially cause cancer. I don't know. The platform we have currently isn't like focused like on treating cancer, but ultimately, if we are able to aggregate people's diet data, like for Fitbit has, I think, like 50 million users, and we don't, I've tried going through the FDA and finding like data to try to identify the epidemiological effects of different food additives, because there's no incentive to do any formal research on a food additive that you can't really patent as a drug. But they don't even have any data like large scale longitudinal data on symptoms. So there's great controversy over glyphosate, for instance, and it was originally patented as an antibiotic, and it's in, I think the average American consumes as much as about 3 milligrams a day. So it's like likely, and there were studies showed it significantly negatively impact the microbiome of mice, but we're not collecting any data on this yet. We've just prescribed the entire population like 3 milligrams of this antibiotic every day, and we're not even considering it. Whereas if we had everyone's diet data and then glyphosate levels in their diet data, and then we could combine that with their medical records, and then look at the incidence of cancer among people who consume these more heavily glyphosate contaminated foods, then it would be better than nothing, a lot better than what we currently have. And then repeat that for the 7,000 other additives that are in our food currently.
Where I see this really helps is on some level outcome measures for things that are really hard to measure, like depression, mental illness. Pain would be a good one as well, because you could log that daily. So you could look at it for certain outcome measures. The other thing where I think it's really important, and like you say, at the moment research is highly limited, and you only have able to study something and get a snapshot of that condition, right, under certain conditions. And what we seriously lack is longitudinal data, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and then understanding a person's lifestyle and all that they consume, interact, whatnot, generate lots and lots of data points, and then using AI to study the patterns and correlations, and then perhaps going back and doing more traditional research to dwell in on certain areas where you want, a clearer picture. I think there is, I think there is a lot of value in it. What we lack is longitudinal data. There's a lot. What you said is really correct. You start a patient on a medication, you expect that medication is the sole factor in determining the outcome. It is not. It is not. There's plenty of other variables involved, and we have no idea at this stage. It's very rudimentary.
What I discovered with all of my conditions was that the biggest factor was like consumption of lectins and gluten. After about 2 days after consumption, I would have a significant increase in symptoms, and I'd have to stop taking it for about 10 days before the symptoms subsided. And so I never noticed over decades that mattered at all because of these time delays. And you have to do this time shifting analysis to see that. And I went to dozens of doctors over a decade or two, and not one ever asked me anything about my diet. But eliminating those has had a more significant effect than any of like the 50 drugs or so that I was taking. But there's no like financial incentive. Like nobody can make any money off of figuring out that gluten's fucking you up. So yeah, hopefully we can. There's about 500 million people with like kind of autoimmune diseases, and then 500 million people with mental illnesses and things that are not currently adequately treated. So I think we can reduce a lot of suffering. Hopefully, if we can, everybody can work together and accelerate discovery.
Basically, humans are just a soup of chemicals, right? You know, what you put in and what you get out of it. So, you know, as much as we like to study a particular action of a mode of action of a drug, there are other confounding factors that we really do not even consider. A lot of biometrics, biochemical data, we have no idea, really no idea. You know, it's just mind-boggling, really.
Definitely, that's very important argument. This remind me of, you know, in the very well, in the past, I should say, doctors, when they're treating a specific problem, let's say fever, simple fever, and they ask you, don't eat that and this and that, and sort of controlling your diet as well, so that kind of, you know, increase the effect of medication and whatever going to happen. At the same time, I was reading this article published like a week ago, Nature somewhere, how brain or you're willing to be healthy control you very well. So it seems like a very quite cognitive health is highly correlated with any of body related measure you are having or problems you are having. So definitely, but my argument is only very simple. We just need to be a bit careful on that aspect, that before we saying, okay, this work or this doesn't work, because this could be very critical, not just for validating what we are doing, as well as giving a very high confidence. Yes, this really work when we say that, and this may and may not work, or it's very specific to very specific population or very specific group of people.
Right. Yeah, we don't make any recommendations whatsoever. We just basically say what the change we observed after this intervention. So yes, that's really up to their doctor or themselves to infer from that. See you later, Peter.
See you, Peter.
Peter.
I have to run as well. Is there anything else on the agenda?
We have the members of the THC Institute who are presenting what they've done so far. So if there's nothing else, I'm sure they're happy to go. Fanny?
Yeah.
Guys?
Yeah, we can go.
All right, I'm here. Can you all hear me?
Go for it.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
Please
morning.
feel free to introduce yourselves as well. Means.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lisa from Botswana.
Hi.
Hi, Lisa.
I don't know when.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Ifeanyi from Nigeria.
Hello.
Good morning,
Hi,
everyone.
Fanny.
I'm Rita
Howdy.
from Nigeria.
Hi, Rita.
Hi,
All right.
good morning, everyone. I'm Matthew from Nigeria.
Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Yeah, Lisa, can you go ahead?
Yeah, I think that's all of a good. I just want to welcome you all to our tutors presentation for THC tutor presentation. A little bit on the background of the group and how it came about. So late last year, in the main group, the THC main group on Telegram, we were indicted with lots of new members who didn't know or who didn't have an idea on how to go about with the trading of cryptocurrency. as in the buying, the selling, and anything that had to do with cryptocurrencies. So my colleague Ifani came up with the idea that maybe we should have a Transhuman Tutors Academy where we would charge them a fee and have to teach them about cryptocurrencies. So we ran it through with the other people in the collective, because we have a collective as well, where we share ideas on how we can make expose transhuman coin to the world at large through social media. So the group, or the tutors institution, is made up of Andrew, myself, Lisetti, James, Lucci, Leo, Rita, and Ifai. And we have a fee that we currently proposed, which would be $120. And of course, with the THC holders getting a discount. For those who are new to THC, but they're holding THC and have no idea about cryptocurrency, would give them a discounted fee. And also, we agreed that this fee will be divided into three, being the third amount of that fee. 30% of it would go to our collective wallet. The 30% would go to the burn wallet, and the 30% will divide it amongst the tutors, just the token of appreciation for the work that we'll be putting in. Under the modules that we came up with, we decided to go into two modules, being beginner and intermediate. So with the beginners module, we wanted to cover, the topics that we wanted to cover were what is cryptocurrency, what's the double spending problem, cryptocurrency, if cryptocurrency is a solution to the world now, also the key terms that we wanted to have covered, the words that would be used amongst investors and traders, the popular cryptocurrencies around, the prices that are set, research into cryptocurrencies, how to find an exchange, what type of wallets are available, and how to keep your wallet secure. Also, we wanted to cover the impact of cryptocurrency on the global market, the impact on the use of through the blockchain, the impact of crypto through the low transaction costs, the transparency, the anonymity of crypto, and the economic impact of cryptocurrency for entrepreneurs. We wanted to cover the wallets as well, as in custodial wallets, non-custodial wallets, the hot wallets, types of hot wallets, everything that had to do with wallets. And the DX and CX part of it, we wanted to do practicals as well. And also in the beginners module, then would have to introduce them to transhumanism and to the transhuman coin. So all those would be covered in the beginners module. And then would have the intermediate module, which my fellow tutor, Ifani, can carry you through. Ifani?
All right, in the intermediate level, we'll be looking at how to identify a project. There are so many projects out there, which while we are teaching these students or these client investors what crypto is all about, because this is a new concept to so many of them, we tell them how to identify projects. Apart from apart from Transhuman Coin itself, how they can look at other projects and get to know what to seek to. If someone introduce a project to them, we'll be looking at we'll be looking at the airdrops, rock pools, how to identify rock pools, honeypot, flash loans. Now we'll be looking into the farming aspect, smart contract, how to track a portfolio, tools needed in DX, in decentralized finance. Then we also look into staking, liquidity farming, lending and borrowing. At the same time, using Transhuman coin as a case study also to them. And we look into network fees, slippage, yield, and common errors people encounter. Then DeFi security, because in all these things, we need to teach more on the security aspect, how to avoid phishing attack and exchange hacks. We all know what happened to the FTX and how it's affecting the crypto market. Then we go more into those areas we call the spot trading and the future traders and spot traders, P2P traders, arbitrage traders, because most people doesn't even know how to swap or how to exchange this token to this token and to get the value from it. And we then ended with IDO, ICO, initial coin offering, IGO pre-sales and public sales, then careers in the Web3. We're also looking into the careers in the Web3. While all these things are going on, we also look into the tokenomics of each project, of each of cryptocurrency. So when these students pass through this class, we intended starting with only the beginners, but we made it agreed on. We have to teach them from the beginners to the intermediate, because the human mind is a mind whereby someone can learn the beginners and decide to stop halfway. Then when he or she encounters a problem on the long run, he gets lost. So we bring them from the beginners to what we feel as intermediate level, and we also introduce transhumanism concept to that. Now, apart from that, also we tend to go this way as our roadmap. We want to use cryptocurrency to introduce transhumanism to people, because I have come across some academies out there, why they are teaching you about cryptocurrency, they at the same time are also telling you the concept they have in mind. Like the Sense Academy, who owns MetaMask, do tell you the importance of MetaMask, why MetaMask is the best among others. So we want to use this now to project and bring people closer to transhumanism, the concept behind transhumanism. And after the first phase is being done, we move to the second phase, whereby we will translate into various materials, into various languages, from English to Spanish, French, Russian, Mandarin, Portuguese, Arabic, Turkish, Aussie, the Swan, the Zulu, the Swahili, Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, and the Hindu. What we are looking at is from this education, because education is a tool to reach to the human mind. We want to use it to pass to bring in more people to the movement through their languages they can understand. So this is also our plans or reason behind this project. And when we begin to expand, we then open up roles for tutors from various languages to help us reach out to those ones who may not understand the English or the Spanish, but in their own language. So this is our concept for starting up this institute. All right, Andrew, I'm done.
Thank you very much, guys. That was wonderful.
It's great.
Stop sharing your screen.
Thank you.
Big button in the center of your screen. Just love your mouse.
Yeah.
There you
Thank
go.
you. That was good.
The only thing I'd like to correct there is I'm not so much a tutor. I'm more of a guide for the group. I'll be helping with the advanced tutoring, but yeah, the money earned I will not be accepting any of because moral reasons.
It's very generous.
But yeah, but by all means, for everyone else in the group, they have very much a right to earn. So I think the fact that they're burning some and donating the rest of the collective to further the cause is fantastic.
Indeed.
Does anybody have anything else to bring to the table, or are we done for now? Charles?
Yeah, Andrew. One more thing again, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. One more thing again. We plan on going and running marketing course on Facebook, on the social medias to get people aware of what we want to do, but we still seek the support of the big guns in the transhumanism to also help us or advise us which area is the best. Because this is after the end of the project or the class, we need to issue the student a certificate, whether it's an electronic version or a physical version, which bears the stamp mark of the transhuman coin or transhumanism movement. It has to come with certificate of that to prove that it comes out. So this is just like an arm of transhumanism and its own. So maybe the big guns can come up like the marketing skill, what we tend to do, because we want to start by April, not March. So we have a month and to get ourselves prepared and then give it a shot.
Thank you so much, Lisa, Ifeanyi, Matthew, and the rest of the team. I think we would have to take this a bit further with the dev team. So we're going to invite you to the dev team to discuss more on that. Then we would give it approval after that.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks, Ifeanyi. Thanks, Lisa. That was I was watching through meeting with the community here in person. That was a great job. So we'll keep working on that. Thanks, Charles and Corky, for arranging. And I want to welcome Kennedy from the US Transhumanist Party that's joining us today. Hey, gang. Kennedy, good to see you.
Hello, Peter. Hello. It's good to see you and Dr. Charles and Art Ramon, and I see Mike is on the call as well. So thank you for inviting me. And I simply wanted to stop by and express my appreciation for the work that you are doing with Transhuman Coin. The part of the presentation that I caught led me to think that you're developing an educational curriculum, not only about the basics of cryptocurrencies, but trying to work in the ideas of transhumanism into it and get new people exposed to it, because some people might be initially attracted by the transhuman coin and then come to appreciate the ideas and the intellectual framework of transhumanism. So I think this is quite an ambitious and worthwhile endeavor, and I'm impressed by what I've heard. I hope to find out more soon.
Thank
Kennedy.
you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Kennedy, we were mentioning to Art as well. We're in the process of allocating the Transhuman Fund wallet for political movements. And we'll be able to provide you access to the multi-signature wallet when it's transferred. So you've got your MetaMask all set up, ready to go as well. So we'll be able to get that off you and add that to the wallet. So it'll be a combination of USTP, what Charles is looking at in Nigeria and other parts of Africa, and in Australia. We're actually meeting up with some of the Science Party people in person. One of them is here. This is Brendan Clark from the Science Party, and also a regular at the City Transhumanist, one of the original co-founders here. We're actually going to have Meow Ludo and Jonathan present shortly in about 25 minutes on their ag tech future for the transhuman network state. Basically, they're actually looking at purchasing a large piece of land in northern Queensland to run lots of transhuman projects, including things like gene editing and accelerating our abundant food future as well from there. Yeah, thanks so much for joining, Kennedy. And I'm so sorry I couldn't make it in person in Carlson City and Rito. I was really looking forward to that trip. It's been deferred by a week or so. I might still be able to make it in person, but I think benefits of being decentralized and digital and transhuman in the metaverse. I'm glad we can still connect and for that presence here.
Yes, indeed. And this is one of the advantages of the age we live in, that despite all of the distance that separates us, we can still meet essentially at a moment's notice. And I do hope that we can meet in person sometime, but at least we can maintain communications and keep up with our respective endeavors this way.
Thanks a lot, Kennedy. But yeah, looking forward to this collaboration with Dr. Charles. So
yeah. So with the Transhuman, the Transhumanist Political Fund. Hi, Brendan. Good to see you. Oh, you're on mute. We can't hear you. We're hoping to.
Hi, Charles. How are you?
Good. Good to see you. We're hoping to fund transhumanist political movements. The USTP, the Science Party, and any other future transhumanist political group, or events, and would want to get the approval of SAB, especially from Dr. Avinaj, so we can initiate that transfer from Dev Wallet, to you guys. It will be managed by Art and Gennady, like Peter said. And yeah, so we can actually initiate the transfer now. We do have, we agreed to make an initial transfer of 200 million Transhuman coins for the wallet.
Well, thank you. That's quite an honor, and Art Ramon and I will definitely collaborate in discussing how those amounts of transhuman coin are going to be used. I do have my own wallet set up with Art Ramon's help. Now, I'm assuming the Transhumanist Political Fund is going to have its own wallet as well, but I will look forward to finding out some of the technical details about the transfer and what needs to be done to effectuate it, to accept it. I myself, I think, will be in need of this basic cryptocurrency curriculum that is being set up, but I know Art Ramon has a lot of expertise in this.
Awesome. I just saw a message from Andrew. So Andrew would actually just connect privately with you and Art to set up the wallet, and we'll take it from there.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Awesome. Peter?
thanks a lot, Charles. So yeah, the plan now is going to be in 45 minutes time. Meow is going to be presenting using the same link here. And what we'll do is we'll continue the recording, and I'll figure out also for the next session, I'll be able to broadcast it directly to our YouTube stream. But in the meantime, we're going to have all the community people just join by this link. So feel free to share the SAB link to the meeting group. That's okay. Because then I can accepting people to join here as well.
Oh, I just didn't get that right. Are we going to wait for Mel? Or is it going to join us now or in 45 minutes?
Yeah, in 45 minutes. Yeah, so feel free to take a break and come back in 45 if you'd like to see the stream and the presentation. We'll be moving to a presentation venue so that we can have the laptop all set up. We'll have all the people meeting in person to also connect in person, do some networking, and then they'll join the room in person and we'll be streaming from there.
using this
That's
link.
good.
So stay on the call. Okay.
So
Where-
essentially,
where's-
it's 7
Oh, that's now.
7 Melbourne time. Yeah.
It's
and,
now.
and Peter,
Hey.
where is this
Hey,
happening?
yeah. It's a familiar
Physically?
Starting at the Sussex Hotel. Yeah.
Hey everyone, nice speaking to you guys soon.
Hello.
Hey, meow.
Yeah, just at the Sussex Hotel near Barangaroo.
Oh, in Barangaroo. Okay, okay.
Yeah, but I can meet you at Stone and Chalk if you'd like to join in person.
I don't know. I'm gonna walk around, so maybe I will pop up there. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. Okay. All right, we'll see you guys soon. Thanks
Yeah,
again. So great to see you, Kennedy. Thanks for joining for everyone. Yeah, and great presentation, PhD Institute. Thanks, guys.
Great to see you too,
Bye.
Peter, and everyone.
Nice to see
So
you.
much.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
All right. Thank you.